lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with a few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. The Drive-In Theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Is that what we're doing?
Wrestling sounds.
Are we Ric Flairing right into this episode?
Right into Monday. Woo! You're tuned into the Drive-In Speakerbox, the best in movie reviews, news, all the kind of things. We used to play film scores, but we can't anymore because we're a podcast now, and FCC's a bitch. But I am the boom operator.
I'm the grip, and I've said multiple times we could just sing the songs.
Yeah.
All of you will hate it, but we can do it.
We've done it before, and we'll do it again, damn it. I noticed that you're wearing, for those of you that are just listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can check us out on our live stream. You can watch us live and in concert. You can participate. You can chat. We have a chat bar, which is cool. But you can get in on the action on our Facebook or our YouTube live. Just go to one of those respective websites / the Drive-In Speakerbox. It's pretty easy to do. But I noticed that the group, you're wearing a SpongeBob SquarePants shirt. Is that because you have seen the trailer to the new SpongeBob SquarePants movie?
No, but I have seen that trailer. But this is the sweet victory shirt, man.
Well,
that we were robbed of when it got interneted onto the Super Bowl. And they teased us with the opening and then gave us music that was not Sweet Victory.
Not Sweet Victory. Yeah. Well, I thought you were wearing it because the trailer for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is everywhere now, and I hate the animation style so much that I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's SpongeBob is cool as SpongeBob, you guys. Like, there's a reason that people love SpongeBob.
Well, but in the other movies, they have live action and CG, and then in some of the episodes, they have it all mixed up, and they'll have they'll turn them into real sponges and stars.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. That's just like brief moments, not the whole movie. It's weird, man. It's weird, man. And then Keanu Reeves coming up as a sagebush, and obviously, clearly only there for a paycheck. But anyway, we're here to talk to you about movies, stuff that's happening in movies. We're going to review movies. Later in the show, we're going to be talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which you can see on our marquee in the back there. That's what we saw this weekend. Did you see any other weekend or movies this weekend?
I did not. No. But yeah, Johnny, that is the Master System version of Sonic 1.
Right here in the studio, comments there in our chat. They asked if this was the actual Master System Sonic, and it is. I'm a big Sega nerd. Got the cart right here. Sonic the Hedgehog on the old Master System, which didn't have blast processing, but it is of an interesting game to playing this on the Master System after playing it on the Genesis, because they were kind of released at the same time, because they were still releasing. The Master System was still widely popular in Japan and Europe, and as the Mega Drive, which was the Sega Genesis. It was, there it is, a little collector's item because we're talking about Sonic today. So I thought I'd bring that up to the studio here so you could really see that we're not just people on Reddit regurgitating the other shit that other people regurgitate onto themselves, like that scene from Stand By Me where the kid eats the pie. That is pretty much how I feel about the internet these days.
You know what, though? I did try to watch another movie after having watched Sonic and being like, well, that was a movie by Sega, and I know that there's another Sega movie out there. I did try to watch
Are you
one.
talking about House of the Dead?
No. What?
Okay.
No.
Suffer like G did.
Yeah. Make you suffer like G did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
No. I was going to watch the Yakuza movie directed by one of our favorites, Takashi Miike.
When are we going to get a Shenmue movie? Of all the Sega properties, I think that could be kind of fun.
Well, they just released Shenmue 3, and nobody bought it. Well, because everyone that did buy it was like, guess what? It's the same as Shenmue 1 and 2, and while you might think that's exactly what you want, there have been zero improvements. They just were like, hey, here's Shenmue 2 again, except different.
Well, the thing that made Shenmue awesome is it was so ahead of its time, and it was breaking new grounds in terms of open, like non-linear gameplay, and like no one had ever even attempted to do that before, and you know,
like making weird phone calls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was proto Skyrim, you know. I mean, you just go around and do whatever the hell you want, and you could do that forever, and it's fine. You don't have to beat the game. You could just play in the arcade meta, like for
dial real phone numbers of real people.
It was crazy, but that's what made Shenmue great. It was an interesting story, but you know, they were doing things in video games that hadn't been done before, and I think if you're going to do a Shenmue 3, you need to break some new grounds there. But coming from the comments section, we got Johnny Dalton saying he wants to see Outrun starring Christian Bale would be tight. And speaking of the Sonic movie, you know, their intro thing, much like everybody wants to have a cinematic universe intro where it was like Sega showing all these clips of Genesis games. Where's my Space Harrier movie, you guys?
Well, see, that's what I was saying is, all right, so I wasn't going to mention that part until the review, but when it opens up, it has the whole Sega logo, and it's just nothing but little screens of all
Golden
their video
Axe,
games.
Phantasy Star,
Yo,
Shining Force.
I saw my boy,
Harrier.
Kiryu Kazuma, and I was like, yo, I need to watch the Yakuza movie because it is out there. It's a real thing. Takashi Miike directed it, and I want to see my dog Goro IRL. You know what I'm saying? If you've ever played the Yakuza games, Majima is the coolest dude, and it wasn't available. You have to pay for some extra deal on Prime to watch it, so I didn't do it. But I want to. I've been meaning to forever because it is a Miike movie.
And Takashi Miike, he is a bit of an acquired taste for some people. But
I tried telling someone about Ichi the Killer the other day, and they were just like,
"The Killer's dope."
Yeah, but it freaks people out.
Well, and here's a time like right now, you know, Parasite. We're skipping ahead again in the show for the box office roundup, which is the last topic that we talk about. But I want to bring this up because this is something we've been talking about a lot. We love foreign films. We love all films. We don't care where they come from or who's starring in them. If a good movie is a good movie is a good movie. You know, and much like I was having a conversation with a DJ friend of mine the other day, and it's like a DJ's not supposed to play all the songs that you've heard of. You know, that's not how you discover new things. And much like watching movies is, if you only watch movies with actors that you've heard of or directors that you've heard of, you're missing out on so much. And with Parasite, you know, we tried to get you guys into the theater after we saw it when it originally ran, and no one went and saw it, and it didn't do very well at the box office. And now that everybody's got this hype machine behind it, it's jumped back up in the top 10. And after its theatrical run, and now it's coming back, and it's kind of upsetting to me to see that, you know, really good movies that have quality and substance, it takes them kind of failing and then getting a hype machine behind them, and then the hype machine is so loud enough that everyone doesn't want to look stupid that they didn't see it, so then they go and see it so they can feel like they're cool. And you know what? Eat a dick, like, you know, go see it. Go take a chance the first time. You know, these movies are good, and like, you know, Miike films. Maybe now that you all think you're so effing cultured because you watched Parasite after the Academy Awards gave it all the awards, maybe you'll go out and watch a lot of really cool movies that have come out in the country that is not this one. You know. You know, this vein comes out when I start seeing that happen, and just go watch these movies, man. You're watching all this garbage trash, like 8-hour binge garbage on Netflix and Amazon Prime. You're like, I don't know, it's got a wizard in it. I guess I'll watch it for 23 hours, like on a weekend. It wasn't that good. I'm like, all right, well, how about you give an hour and a half to a foreign film that is amazing? And they're like, oh, subtitles. And God, ugh.
You know what, too? Johnny's sitting here thinking of games with different people starring. Was Vector Man a Sega property? Was that a first-party game?
Vector Man was only available on the Sega Genesis.
But was it a first-party game?
I think so.
Yeah, I want to see Vector Man starring Vin Diesel. kind of like a hold on, hear me out, like a Iron Giant type thing, like a Groot type deal.
Where it's just not Vin Diesel, it's just him going, burp.
Yeah, you know.
And then they go, starring Vin Diesel! And then everybody goes and sees it. I'm sure that would actually work.
Because what was cooler than Vector Man? Nothing, except for Booger Man.
Booger Man was pretty cool. Comic Zone, Sam throwing in. Actually, from the studio audience, we actually have a studio audience tonight. We got a comment. I like how he went to the Facebook Live to comment. Comic Zone, one of the coolest Sega Genesis games that was so frustratingly impossible. I never got past level 2.
But
but those 2 levels were badass.
Comic Zone was available on SNES too, though.
But it was a Genesis game. It was always a Genesis game, just like Shadowrun was always a Genesis game. And it was like, well, it was also on Super Nintendo. That if you ever played that game, it sucks. And I'm only going to low sweep kick Rats in the Sewer and Comic Zone on Sega Genesis, baby.
Well, Booger Man was on SNES, but I've never found a Booger Man SNES cartridge ever. I found it on Genesis multiple times.
Doesn't belong.
Whatever.
So this is a very video game centric episode of the Drive-In Speakerbox because we're going to be talking about Sonic.
Let's make a Booger Man movie.
Let's make a Booger Man versus Fart Man versus Beavis and Butthead Save the World or whatever. Like
Beavis and Butthead video games are good.
You remember the 90s were so obsessed, now we're like really into like butts. Like everyone's like, yeah, butts and doo-doo emojis and actual fecal matter is cool. But in the 90s, it was like boogers and farts. And like snot and boogers were really in the 90s. And now in the aughts, it's like just anal play and doo-doo. Like it's really weird. Like I don't know, we're getting in a dark place now.
Not we.
No, it's the society.
No.
Like where's our Emoji Movie toys? There's a doo-doo toy.
Well, in that movie Society, that dude becomes a literal butt face.
Oh, dude, if you've never seen Society, go check that one out. What a slow burn that movie is. Anyway, let's talk about some news. Oh man, more comments coming in. Sam on Facebook says Panzer Dragoon game would be epic. Still trying to get my hands on Panzer Dragoon Saga, which was Sega Saturn only, Japanese only. Still one of the most hard to find, sought after games. Just look at that shit on eBay, and you can find it's like $100 billion. Like Jeff Bezos is still trying to get his hands on to Panzer Dragoon Saga, and he can't.
Is it one that you can download and play as an emulator on Dreamcast?
I mean, probably, but it's not the same. Get out of here.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, tactically it's not the same, but yeah, Panzer Dragon was. I mean, that was like a release title when Saturn came out.
Dude, Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Saturn was expensive though. It was like $300, man.
I've got 2 of them over there in the.
That's now, but I mean back then.
No, I had one back then, man. I was a Sega boy. Sega boy.
I would just drool at the picture of the Sega Saturn when those thick ass J.C. Penney catalogs would come on my parents' doorstep.
And after you got done with the lingerie section, you flip back over to the.
Yeah.
How'd you know?
That's like one of those kids these days.
I grew up in the 90s.
Kids these days will never know memes where it's like catalog mailed to your home.
Yeah, so someone mentioned Montgomery Ward, so I was like thinking Montgomery Ward, J.C. Penney. I mean, shit, they don't know.
Dude, those catalogs, man. In the time before internet, you couldn't go, oh, okay, Siri, show me double D's, and then you got them. Now like you had to be like, I wonder if my dad has like a copy of an old beat up nudie mag underneath the box in his closet, and like that's how you had to look at naked people.
Wow.
What do you mean wow?
Not movies.
What do you mean wow? Like I've seen your dad's garage. There's like titty girls on posters all over the place, and like motorcycles and titty girls. I know
he put thumbtacks into my Elvira standee.
I know. Just by meeting your folks, I know that you had access to nudie material in your home.
Skip. We got to talk about movie news.
You had a healthy childhood.
Is Jake's mom on right now?
My parents watch this. We got moving onward to some movie news.
Speaking
movie news
of destroying...
Whatever article you're looking at, I just saw the words nipple butt together.
What are we even talking about? So speaking of trampling on our childhood memories, I don't know if you heard this. According to Deadline this week, Spielberg's Anlin Entertainment has teamed up with Warner Brothers because they're desperate to get more content for their steaming service. Their streaming service they want to do. And
if it sucks, it might be a steaming service.
It's a steaming service. And also Richard Donner for a Fox pilot that are going to try and remake the Goonies.
I'm going to find something to punch and break my hand because I'm going to hit it so hard right now.
Is
I want to scream into this microphone.
Sacred? Where's my Goonies key?
How can you do that? Where is it?
It's up here somewhere. I think I took it. I took it down for Lunar New Year.
Is someone looking for One-Eyed Willie's gold right now? Did they steal your key?
I don't know. It's back here.
Are they under the Fratelli's restaurant of death?
Man, you know, the thing about the Goonies.
It's timeless and perfect, and no one should ever mess with it because it's amazing.
Yes. You know, you can only. I mean, I get it. You're trying to recapture the spiritual energy that Stranger Things has now become a dead horse that we're kicking.
But Stranger Things,
season
because
1,
it was like
season 1 was a remake of the Goonies. So leave it alone. You've already remade the Goonies. It was called Stranger Things, and it was cool because that story can only happen in a world that doesn't have cell phones and doesn't have the internet and that still has imagination, and kids are allowed to play outside without fear of gang violence or
the kid in the friggin' Mustang
Troy
tried to Troy
gang
with
violence.
his time up there, but it's our time down here. He tried to murk Josh Brolin, man.
He did.
He threw him off the side of a mountain.
Yeah, he was just like, "Hold on, I'm gonna commit vehicular manslaughter on you," and he's like,
"No,
oh,
that's
this kid
straight
bicycle.
homicide because
Yeah,
he intended to do that."
Dude, well, I'm just saying that shows you that rich white kids with sweaters tied around their neck are always the enemy. You know, if anything,
don't ever get in Troy's bucket,
dude. If anything, the '80s taught me is that if you have a sweater tied around your neck, die in a trash fire because you're the enemy.
Hold up. The actual main character of the first Revenge of the Nerds, even though it clearly became Louis
he was
Skolnick.
the enemy at first, but it was a redemption story.
No,
because
he was,
Ogre turned.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about.
Or when
I'm talking the nerd, like the main nerd.
When he made out without consent with that girl in the funhouse.
That's Louis Skolnick, dude.
Yeah, Skolnick.
I'm not talking about Louis. I'm talking about the other one, the short-haired blonde dude, like the
one that was in Grey's Anatomy.
Bro.
Yeah, Goose, and he was in Grey's Anatomy. He was in Top Gun. Yeah, that nerd.
Goose wore had the sweater thing. He wasn't the bad guy until Revenge of the Nerds 2, where he was like, "Fuck nerds."
Exactly. The bad guy shouldn't be trusted. Anyway, so they're trying to make.
He rode up in Troy's bucket.
They did. He what a betrayer. But they shouldn't remake this. They're talking about doing it. We'll see. I don't know. We'll keep our eyes on it for you. But I don't feel good about it. Also in weird remake news, because remakes begat reboots. But Battlestar Galactica, which already had a very competent reboot that happened back in 2004 through 2009. Well, I guess because modern society has devolved in such a way that we can't appreciate content that doesn't happen right now. If it's not within the past 10 years, then it's too old to even pay attention to. It's before my time. And then therefore beyond appreciation. But now is going to get another reboot set in the exact same reboot plane as the 2004 reboot. NBC, what the hell? Guys?
Was it not kind of like a sequel, though, to the original to begin with? They were just like, but what if Galactica was also like friggin' Star Wars, or Terminator, and you had Cylons that were people, too?
Hey, Cylons can be people.
Yeah, they were android weirdo infiltrator Cylons.
But yeah, they're going to do it. But here's the weird thing, though. Here's the weird thing. Is Mr. Robot creator Sam Esmail is apparently behind the development of this project. Yeah, I know, and I kind of like him. And our producer over here he's kind of like going, because did you finish, a question over there to the producer, did you finish Mr. Robot?
I did.
Does that mean Christian Slater will be in Battlestar Galactica?
I hope so.
That'd be badass.
Christian Slater has always been on my cool list. Everybody, even though people are like, no, he has a big interview with the vampires, the last thing he was in. No, dude, he.
Broken Arrow.
Do we have a cricket noise?
Wow. Dude, do you not like Broken Arrow? It's friggin' sick.
Please, for those of us that didn't exist or read anything on Reddit, because no one's posting articles about Broken Arrow. I know about Broken Arrow because the stealth bomber was cool back then.
John Travolta was a cool bad guy.
There we go. John Travolta, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to the stage, a guy that hasn't made a good movie since Grease, I think.
Whoa. What?
Dude. Okay, what, Staying Alive was so good?
No.
Face Off?
Okay. Face Off? Well, hey, shut up. Face Off is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And not because he was good, because that movie is so freaking cuckoo that it just doesn't. It just defies all logic. But yeah, name me some good Battlestar or Battlefront or Battlefield Earth. Yeah, because that one was so awesome. Yeah, no, come on, man. Where are you at with your John Travolta love?
I'm just saying Broken Arrow's sick.
No,
I think you're wrong.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
What movie did you watch?
From Paris with Love, actually, okay, From Paris with Love, watch that movie, not because it's good. It's Luc Besson going, you know what, how do I harness the insanity of John Travolta and just, I don't know, let's just roll cameras. And they gave him a giant jar of cocaine, shaved his head, and let him loose in Paris. And that's the movie.
Well, and Johnny says the Thomas Jane Punisher, where he was the bad guy. Not.
You tell me that's better than Warzone?
No, Warzone's the best one, dude. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
That's the best one.
Get out of here. One of the greatest Marvel movies ever made before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Get out of here, guys. Except Blade.
It's still one of the better comic book movies for sure.
Johnny Dalton coming in on YouTube saying Swordfish. Get out of here with your Halle Berry love.
He made Catwoman suck off Wolverine in that movie.
That is true. That is true. Swordfish.
Hacking to the government, and he's like, I can't because Beegers. Remember? That was the big thing about that movie?
Yes, that is the big thing about that movie. And see, this is why you tune into the Drive-In Speaker Box, because where
else are you going to hear?
We're not Googling any of this shit, y'all. We've wasted that much of our life for you, you know. And it brings me to a good point of, I've been on the internet a lot recently, reading reviews, reading all these things, and people like these new reviewers, they don't know. They don't have these thoughts. They don't think about getting sucked off by Wolverine and Catwoman while you're hacking the 90s net.
To be specific, I mean, Catwoman didn't. I mean, she was sitting there. It was like in some other chick that did.
Oh.
But still, Catwoman was there.
Yeah.
We saw Catwoman's titties and Wolverine got sucked off and Swordfish. That's what we learn here on the Drive-In Speaker Box. Jesus.
Such a stupid movie.
Jesus. Johnny Dalton coming in here on the YouTube comments saying, my job interview at Arby's was very similar to that scene in Swordfish.
Wow.
Prep the sandwich. But can you do it while this happens?
Hey, we got all the meats.
Just hope that meat don't have cheese on it too.
Ooh, beef and cheddar. All right. Anyway, moving on. More news. Going down the freaking rabbit hole tonight. Let's see. There was another thing I wanted to talk about before we get into. You know, I was going through the news. I read a lot of movie blogs and other movie news sites, and the point I was getting at is these people that have never seen movies. You know, somebody's like, because Disney Plus is now a thing, you know, slash film. I like reading a lot of slash film. But then, you know, the more I read about these things, the more I learn that these people have no idea about movies. They're like, we just discovered Return to Oz, Disney's sequel to a classic that haunted our nightmares. And I'm like, this is the first time you've seen Return to Oz?
Wait till they find out about The Wiz.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys run a movie news website and you ain't seen Return to Oz? What the hell? Like, this is when we get an internet that's run by 20-year-olds. It's no wonder nobody knows shit and misinformation's going around everywhere, because these are the people that don't want to view content that doesn't know is before my time, but now I have to report on content that's before my time, so I'm going to go to Wikipedia because that's a trusted source, I think. And, you know, just oof. Oof. And speaking of people making decisions, bad decisions based on content that was amazing and they can't just appreciate the good content, did you hear about this? Lee Winnell, who's about to unleash his remake of The Invisible Man, which is an unnecessary sequel to Hollow Man, which is an unnecessary sequel to several movies about being invisible.
It's a sequel to Hollow Man?
No, it's a retelling, re-imaging of like, oh, well, what if the Invisible Man was a bad guy? And it's like, well, he's always been a bad guy, except for you guys forgot because when Chevy Chase became the memoirs of Invisible Man, he was actually a likable character when actually...
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was a good, fun movie, but the original Invisible Man, played by Claude Rains, is not supposed... He's a crazy psychopath that is not a fun guy. He's not cool. He's not Chevy Chase.
Yeah, but he's not supposed to be Kevin Bacon turned rapist.
Well, that's where we are now. So the new Invisible Man is like, I'm even rapier and crazier than Kevin Bacon, and now I'm even more invisible than he is, and now check me out. I'm going to terrorize this woman.
Straight up, when Hollow Man came out, it was like, oh, Invisible Man, Kevin Bacon, that can be fun because, you know, you're like, oh, Chevy Chase, Invisible Man, and then you watch Hollow Man, and it's like, well, Kevin Bacon's cool, and then he gets turned invisible, and then he's like an evil rape person that punches everyone.
With his wiener.
Wow. No, but not okay. Not cool.
That's not Hollow Man. Or Invisible Man. I mean,
John Cena should have been the Invisible Man.
You can't see me.
There's no CG required. It was just him standing there. And the
how's his song go? It's like a lot. It's real horn heavy. That's it. Yeah, that should be it.
Your time is up. My time is now.
Dude,
you can't see me.
If that's not
my time is now.
In the Fast and the Furious 9,
my time is now.
Like then I quit. But anyway, Lee Winnell is Invisible Man's coming out, but he's already talking about writing and being attached to, possibly direct, an Escape from New York remake. Based on, of course, the 1981 classic,
unacceptable,
classic, amazing film. Fantastic dystopian future movie. Come on, Kurt Russell, iconic Snake. I think I have a Snake Plissken patch up here.
Isn't John Carpenter like still alive?
He's rolling in his grave. We got the Escape from New York. And,
we got this right here.
I know I have a Snake Plissken eye patch somewhere around here. Anyway,
Snake's one of the coolest dudes ever. How can you?
It's Plissken, and then at the end of the movie, he goes, it's Snake. Just like such a cool, like what a cool build-up. Like the whole movie, this guy he doesn't like, he's just like calling him Snake, and he goes, the name's Plissken. And then at the end, when he fixes everything and comes back and he's like, all right, Plissken, he goes, call me Snake. Just a F with the guy. Like what a Snake Plissken's the baddest.
You talking about New York? Like right after he gets his antidote, once he murks friggin' Isaac Hayes,
dude,
the Duke of New York, A#1.
And Donald Pleasance somehow in another movie that's not Halloween playing the president of the United States.
You got Ernest Borgnine being the coolest cab driver
ever. But anyway, here's the weird news, and this is the only reason I'm reporting on this, because they want to get Wyatt Russell to reprise see, that's the same reaction I had. Wyatt Russell to reprise his father's role of Snake Plissken. And when I saw Overlord, did you see Overlord?
No.
I know I reviewed it here on the show a while back.
You did.
It's the Wolfenstein 3D movie. But anyway, when I reviewed Overlord, like, dude, Wyatt Russell is really, really coming into his Kurt Russell-ness. And
but no one can be like that kind of grizzle of like Snake.
But the only person that could even have a chance,
Kurt Russell,
is from Snake's own loins.
Or it could just be Kurt Russell.
True, it could just be Kurt Russell, because Kurt Russell's still badass. He's the cool Santa Claus that just happened. He was in Bone Tomahawk, which was kind of insane. Like Kurt Russell's still a viable choice for a lot of badassery. Come on, guys.
He was a big bad in a Marvel movie that everyone seems to be super into.
Yeah, remember he was the bad guy, and the funny thing is I bet a lot of people can't even remember because that's how forgettable the Marvel movies are. Get out of here with your Marvel movies. Kurt Russell. I don't know how I feel about it.
Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
Make something new. everybody else was like, well, no more movies are good anymore. And it's like, well, how did they do it back then? I don't know. They thought of stuff. They took chances on new ideas. And
just make another escape movie that's a sequel with Kurt Russell. Don't remake. Don't make a new young Snake.
Or just don't make a Escape from New York movie at all,
just leave it alone.
Just leave it the hell alone.
Because how can you top Peter Fonda and surfing?
Steve Buscemi and Bruce Campbell selling
evil doctor Bruce
evil
Campbell.
Doctor Bruce Campbell selling organs on the LA black market, and then that crazy 3-point shot from 100 yards away. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it turns out Snake Plissken is like the most baller, like literally baller dude of all time.
He's like, Kobe, swish. Turns out that Escape from LA actually, in a world of 20 years of bad movies that we've had to endure lately, it's not
bad
that
anymore.
bad. It's not that bad anymore.
Because when it came out, you're like, oh,
ew. Because we just had so many amazing movies in the 80s and 90s, you guys. We just had tons of good movies. And now it's like, wow, we had 20 years of trash, and now we're just trying to recycle everything because we can't take risks on anything. And which rewind to previous episodes of the Drive-In Speakerbox where I get super furious at studios not willing to take risks anymore, which is why we don't have good movies anymore. Anyway, yeah, all right. So speaking about let's move on. That's enough news. We've already talked for 42 minutes about nothing. Let's talk about the new movies that are coming out in theaters this week, because there are a couple of movies coming out. Only one that I'm interested in seeing, and I know I'm not going to get it anywhere here near me. For those of you that have emailed me outside of the show asking about when The Lodge is going to be coming around here, it's only playing in 6 theaters nationwide. I know its release date was back February 8th. For those of you still wanting to see The Lodge, it is still not even in limited release. It's still only in that very, 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 very tiny pre-limited release. I still think it's going to be a couple of weeks before we see it in an expanded release, if at all, because reviews are not being super amazed by it. But we'll see, because everybody's trying to go, oh, Parasite was good, I guess. And it was amazing, and they're trying to get that out of our system before we get to any other small run movies. But Neon Films have they have a tendency to get out there eventually. But anyway, we've got some movies coming out this weekend. One movie that nobody's heard about really, kind of came out of left field. It's getting middling reviews, decent reviews. I'm curious about it because it's kind of an interesting telling of a Jane Austen sort of classic, one of her comedies, as hilarious as Jane Austen was, known for her just nail-bitingly hilarious writing. But the story of Emma is coming out this weekend with Anya Taylor-Joy, Tanya Reynolds, Johnny Flynn, and Mia Goth. It's set in 1800s England. It's about a well-meaning, selfish young woman, Emma, meddling with the love lives of her friends. Kind of a tongue-in-cheek retelling of the Jane Austen classic. We'll see how that goes. Very stylized. The trailer looks kind of interesting. You don't normally see Jane Austen stuff taken to, you'll see it being retold in certain ways, but modernized or just traditionalized. But this is kind of like a weird modernized telling, but in a period piece setting.
Wasn't it one of her books that they did? It was they turned into a zombie thing.
Yes, there's been several of weird retellings of, but yeah, the zombie one was one of them. What else do we have? Oh, the trailer that I can't stop wishing I could never see again. Brahms, The Boy 2, because there was a sequel to a movie that I guess we collectively forgot about.
Like Ice Cream?
Brahms? No, not that Brahms. But it's the sequel to a movie about a creepy doll, kind of like Annabelle, but it's a boy one. And it's after a family moves to the Hellshire mansion, their young son soon makes friends with a lifelike doll called Brahms, your ice cream and dairy store. And the bunch of people die. Katie Holmes, I guess, is she still married to Tom Cruise?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. She's still into Scientology, though? who knows? She might be a level 7 Zorbex or whatever they have now. But anyway, the movie looks like shit, and there you go. Also, speaking of shit, The Call of the Wild.
Wow.
Did you not see the trailer to this big steaming pile of Harrison Ford paychecking?
Yeah, I did, but that doesn't mean it might not end up being a pretty
are saying that because there's a dog in it.
Well, no, I don't like movies about dogs because the dog inevitably gets hurt or dies.
Of course, this one's probably going to get hurt or die. It's about a sled dog. It's called Call of the Wild. It can't just be a fun, feel-good movie. The dog is going to get hurt. That's how dog movies work. It's
Except for Homeward Bound, and that's why Homeward Bound is awesome.
The dog gets kind of hurt.
Sure.
And they're lost, which is emotionally hurtful.
But spoiler, they fucking make it, bro.
Well, yeah.
Even the cat, which should have definitely been eaten.
No. No.
Yeah.
Don't throw the cat under the bus like that. Don't be like that.
Anyhow, it might end up being a pretty decent, story-driven movie for families.
Shut your mouth. Did you see the CGI of this Get a Real Dog movie?
Okay. Well...
Like, how many movies have been made since the dawn of time of movies that they're just like, you know what, let's get a trained animal because there are people that train animals and and animals are smart. And if it's such a good...
Maybe it was a stylistic choice to make the dog more expressive.
This isn't Beethoven, and Beethoven still used a real dog.
Yeah, Beethoven's really good.
You know? Come on. K9, what was the one with the sled dogs? They still used real dogs. I think even sled dogs use real dogs. Like, everybody, use real dogs.
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yes. And Turner and Hooch, real dogs.
Yo, but that's one of the ones. Friggin' Coach murders Hooch.
Yeah, but then Hooch has babies.
Shame on you, Mr. Incredible, for murdering Hooch.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah.
But anyway, Call of the Wild. This trailer just makes me sad in my heart because it looks so lame. Norwood Express tuning in on YouTube, and I'm gonna guess just from that username that I'm about to give shout outs on where are you at these days? The West Coast? Is that my boy Tanner tuning in over in the West Coast? We are the furry convention here.
What?
He says.
No, don't admit to that.
Coming in, tuning in live. In the comments section, shout outs. I don't know if that's you, Tanner, but with a name like Norwood Express, how could it not be? Anyway, also coming out in very limited release. I really want to see this because it's a Michael Winterbottom film. I don't if you've never seen a Michael Winterbottom film, he's not for everyone. Michael Winterbottom is one of these dudes that is known for incredibly chatty and incredibly character-driven storytelling. He is an unusual director that, I think the first movie I saw him direct was 24-Hour Party People. Excuse me. Starring Steve Coogan, who he loves Steve Coogan, who I love Steve Coogan. So maybe this is why I love Michael Winterbottom films. But 24-Hour Party People about Factory Records, which was a Manchester-based record label that kind of ushered in the era of new wave and dance music kind of as we know it in the Manchester club scene in the 80s. I mean, gave way to New Order and Happy Mondays and all sorts of just changing the game. But, going on and making movies like Tristram Shandy, A Cock and Bull Story, also starring Steve Coogan. The Trip, also starring Steve Coogan. The Trip to Italy, also starring Steve Coogan. There's a lot of movies that he does that I really like that are starring Steve Coogan. He did do, what was that movie? I'm trying to remember. He did this one that everybody likes to talk about. I'll think of it eventually. But Steve Coogan is really great. And Michael Winterbottom is really great. And there's a new movie coming out this weekend called Greed, starring Steve Coogan. It is basically just satire about super rich people, which I think is more prevalent in our current climate than ever before. And I cannot wait to get my hands on this movie because Michael Winterbottom and Steve Coogan. So, shut your
Why did you do the
facial.
Wicked Witch of the West laugh?
because that's how I feel about it. I'm going to get on a broom and ride to Happy Town. Let's see here. Coming in.
Fun historical fact about why witches are portrayed riding brooms.
Oh, man. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Catching up in the comments. Johnny Dalton saying he always gets that confused with Party Monster, 24-Hour Party People. Yes, they are not the same movie, but 24-Hour Party People, highly recommended. Tristram Shandy, A Cock and Bull Story, highly recommended. Check out Michael Winterbottom films. Check them out. And if you want to check out The Trip, I highly suggest the BBC series to the re-edited theatrical release of The Trip. It was actually shot as a mini-series, and then to get them to feature-length format, they cut out a lot of really good stuff. So, yeah, you should check it out. Michael Winterbottom, blam. Okay. That's what's coming out in theaters this week. It's time to review a movie. Okay, you were supposed to like come in and back me up.
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing like the yeah.
Da 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 da. Yeah, come on. And then you be the part where he like leans down and goes. You know, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, you guys. It's music from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. All right, Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie that happened. Guys, video game movies
are bad.
They're
generally
they're not good. They're not known for being good since the days of Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter, Double Dragon. What was what was the movie with Jason Statham's one last job? It's like where was the Castle Siege or some shit. What was the one?
That wasn't
it was based off a video game.
Something about the king.
Yeah, and it was garbage. It was so bad.
I don't know if that was based on a video game.
Based on a video game.
What video game?
Exactly, that one. There were so many you guys over here doing shots, leaving me out of it. Man, I feel so bad.
The original Tomb Raiders?
Though
the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider wasn't so bad.
But look how many
you didn't like it.
Look how many tries it took them to get to there. But historically speaking, video game movies are not very good. We've been living in a world where video game movies don't.
Doom is a really bad
Doom
video game
was
movie.
A bad movie. Woof. The Final Fantasy Spirits from Within.
It wasn't.
Johnny Dalton coming in here saying that was good.
Everyone at the time was like, "Whoa, it's like a cutscene from one of the video games, but movie length." But it was bad, and it had nothing to do with Final Fantasy, like in any way. No one liked it. And then there was the FF7 movie, which everyone was just like, "Huh."
Warcraft movie, Assassin's Creed movie.
Some people like the Warcraft movie. I liked the Assassin's Creed
Dark movie.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Prince of Persia movie.
Ew.
Hitman movie. They're all not good. Max Payne, remember that one? Hey,
Yeah.
how's your mother gonna dodge bullets?
Yeah.
It's just Rampage. Not a very good video game movie. Sonic was pretty good,
Sonic
you guys.
was pretty good.
Sonic was good.
We did it.
What?
Sweet victory.
What
We were like, change
happened?
it. And they changed it, and it worked.
What happened? Like, the trailers came out to this movie, you guys, and Sonic face looked... Because here's the thing, is they were trying to reinvent something that was already great. Sonic, this is what Sonic looks like. This is what Sonic's always looked like.
No, he changed when it went to disc-based gameplay. He got skinny and long legs. But you know what's fun?
This is what Sonic looks like.
In the movie, they show him like this and as the new one, and they explain it, and it makes sense, and it's a fun thing for people that play the games, and there's lots in there for people that are fans of the video games, and they're just like, here you go, that's for you. You even get a Sonic Hedgehog meme
Dude,
thrown into the movie, and it makes sense as to why it's there.
Sense.
And it's actually pretty good.
This was made by people that clearly loved the source material, people that clearly had played the games. people that grew up with this. I didn't even hate Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
All right, so Jim Carrey was straight up the worst part of the entire movie.
Absolutely.
Because he was just the Grinch again.
He was the Grinch again, being an asshole, running around, I mean, he did say some pretty funny things, though, that I'm just like, okay, that was pretty fun. But you know, to the after credit scene, did you stay for the after credit scene?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And even that was done tastefully. Like in a movie that's supposed to be a video game, you don't expect it to be good. You don't expect these things to acknowledge the past. With, you know, you see a lot of this, like, where they're making reference to something, but it's almost like, oh, look how dumb this is. This is for you assholes that expect this crap. Like, no, they did it with care, and to the point where giving Sonic a reason to call Dr. Robotnik Eggman.
Yeah, that was perfect. The way they fit it in, and everything they did that was like for the games, you got to see
even the
like
name of the town.
Yeah, Green Hills.
Green Hills, like Emerald Hills.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
well, Green Hill Zone.
The first zone.
Green Hill Zone, man.
It was his home.
Well, and at first, at the beginning, he talks about going to a mushroom planet because it explains Sonic's not from Earth and he has to switch different planets.
And it explains how he goes to these different zones.
Knuckles race, whatever the Knuckle race is, the dark ones coming after, they follow him from different planets or whatever, and he's like, oh, I have to go to this planet made out of mushrooms. And at first it seems like it's kind of a dig at Mario too, which was fun.
A little bit.
But then Mushroom Zone is the first level in Sonic and Knuckles also. So you get all sorts of little things from games thrown in. You get to hear the rings spill noise. When Sonic gets hurt in part of the movie, he drops these rings and
he has to pick them all up.
Yeah,
and it does it in a way that makes sense without just being like, well, we got to make him do this. Here's no reason.
Even the way that he like defeats enemies in the movie is the same way that you would do it in the game. But
it made sense in the narrative, which normally doesn't happen in these sort of movies. And you know, going in the comments here, Norwood Express says, "I'm protesting the movie because they didn't use the effed up first version with the human teeth." And thank God they didn't, because it would have been too distracting. People would have not focused on the actual, because people would have been too upset with the fact that they've changed him to something that was unviewably horrendous. But putting Sonic in the Sonic movie made it work, and it wasn't trying to tell a video game story. It was telling a very human story that was very relatable, and it wasn't, you know, a lot of these kids movies that come out like Trolls. It's like, well, our happiness is gone because our singing songs is song time. Let's go to the rap world and rap. Let's go to the rock and roll world and rock and roll with popular songs with popular people. And this was just like, I'm sad and want to kill myself, and I hate the world, and I don't want to be here anymore, and all I want is to have friendships, and no one understands me, and I have to hide myself. I have to hide my true self from the world. I guess I'm going to leave this planet never getting to experience joy in life after I just got to this planet because my mom got arrowed by bad guys, and I'm all alone, and I've had to raise myself for the past 10 years, making the best of what I've got. And then that's hard shit. And then you go right into the story that's very human.
Yeah, and it's like it worked really well as like a family/kids movie, but it had things for everyone. Like topics that anyone could kind of buy into and get behind. And it did not fail the fans, the fan audience that was there, and you got a little bit of everything, even stuff from if you liked the Americanized cartoon and comic book where the chili dogs came in. Yeah, and like you get fun things like that. So
and that was the one time in a kids movie that normally when they make a character fart, it's just like, God, they're just trying to make kids laugh. But he ate a bunch of chili dogs, which was a joke for all of us adults that grew up with Sonic, that also appealed to young kids that aren't going to get it but are still going to respond to a fart. And it's like, man, they thought about that.
So, well, and Johnny coming in saying the thing about doing the floss dance. The whole thing is that Sonic was exiled from his home as like a child, and he grew up formative years kind of hiding on Earth, and
there he is, right there,
you know,
loving them
just
chili dogs,
watching TV through windows and kind of participating on the outskirts of things. So he's at an age that fits with doing something like that, and he's aimed at a target audience that's like things they're into, you know. So it all fits with the character and their explanation of it, and
well, to me, it's like,
fun,
I don't like the Fortnite dance. I think that's dumb. But again,
because you can't do it.
Like, no, but like the grip says, it was a way that they were able to take this character's persona and make a reasonable assessment. There was a lot of really good humor that addressed the day, like when you know, it's like a kid would be watching all of our current things when he made a joke about Fast and Furious. He's like, I feel like Vin Diesel. It's all about family, and he makes some pretty fun, relevant jokes that seemed fitting for the character and not forced in a way that it was just trying to appeal to an audience. And Norwood Express asks on YouTube, he says, is Tails a beta little bitch in the movie like he is in the game?
Tails isn't in the movie.
He's not in the movie.
It's a Sonic movie, not Sonic and Tails movie.
Yeah, there's no Knuckles, there's no Tails.
Well, but you see, like the Knuckles / what are the other?
The race, the echidnas.
Yeah, but in the later games they brought in like the bat and
the dark ones,
the pink kind of Knuckles.
I stopped playing at that one.
Yeah, but that's what they were. I mean, that's what there's parts of it. They even kind of do a little bit of like the Were Sonic-esque type stuff. He doesn't go as far as like turning into Were Sonic because everyone hated that.
Yeah, he got Supersonic there for a second.
The only thing left out of the movie as far as video games are the Chows and Chaos Emeralds. But you really don't need Chows, and Chaos Emeralds might come in if they do another one or something.
Which, according to the box office report, there's gonna be another one. It has defied all logic and all people's expectations of what this movie was going, because no one expected this movie to be good. I know I certainly didn't, and then it turns out it was. I mean, it's not amazing. It's a video game movie, guys. But it just like the Garbage Pail movie isn't amazing. But I love the Garbage Pail movie, guys, because it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And Sonic did exactly what it was supposed to do. It made a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And that worked. And so I'm happy that it did, without feeling overly forced, without feeling too disingenuous to its source material. It kind of succeeded in that mission, and for that I have an appreciation for it. So yes, Norwood Express over here talking about the Macarena and all sorts of things. He must be drunk.
Well, saying that they may have filled the movie with things that would become dated and aged very quickly. But if you go back and watch any kind of kids movie, they all have things that are a reference to the time that they're from, and they wane at some point in cultural relevance, but it's part of the time that they're set in, and it works. Like things like what am I trying to think of? Rookie of the Year, or even Goonies, like we were talking about earlier. They're going to have references to their period of time, but that's just, I mean, what can you do about that? You know,
what can you do about it? Sonic the Hedgehog, man, in theaters right now. Do you have any other closing words? Any other thoughts about Sonic? I mean, we're going to get a sequel, and I'm probably going to hate it because it's going to be a cash grab. But
maybe, but
the first one, I mean,
they kind of things get set up pretty good to make for another true to video game sequel. Yeah.
I know. I mean, it blew me away in the sense that I was just like, man,
I just don't want to see in the sequel they bring in like a water level and you have the music and the bubbles and the stress and the anxiety.
Or Sonic Spinball. Oh, there it is.
Spinball's cool, though.
No, that game is really cool. Really hard. Mean Bean Machine. And, I mean, I think where I stopped was the Sega Saturn Sonics. That's kind of where but man, all those ones on Sega Genesis. Like, you could put Sonic 2 in Sonic and Knuckles and play with characters from both games because it took the technology.
The Sonic and Knuckles stack cartridge was the coolest thing ever.
Cool,
because it played as its own game, but then you flip open the top and you can slap in any previous Sonic game, 1 through 3, and it actually added new levels to 3.
It's crazy.
Like the aforementioned Mushroom Zone was added in if you put Sonic 3 into the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge. Pretty sick. Hey,
Sega rules, you guys.
and you know what?
Where's my Space Harrier movie?
Right now on Xbox One, if you have an Xbox One, Sonic 1, 2, 3 are all part of the backward compatibility. I think Sonic and Knuckles might be, and there's one other. Spinball, unfortunately, is not one of those. I really want Spinball, but it's not there. But with Sonic Mania released recently too, you can play all that. And the ending credits, as well as the official accompanying music video for the movie, has a recap of a lot of scenes in the movie done in Genesis graphics, which is fun too, because you get to see the movie as a video game. As a Genesis game.
Speaking of the end credits were all in Genesis style graphics, which were pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. You can check it out in theaters. It's actually, as far as video games movies go, not too bad. So there you have it. With that said, let's go over the box office. Yes, Norwood Express, you should go see it. Coming in the comments said we changed minds here on the Drive-In Speakerbox. So if you end up hating it, report all comments, concerns, questions, and hate mail to driveinspeakerbox@gmail.com.
Well, and you know what? Actually, it's one of the better family movies I've watched in a long time too.
Well, true, and that is a good point that you bring up, because as a family movie, I think that it's both enjoyable for adults and children, which a lot of these quote-unquote family movies are kids movies, not family movies. There is a difference. And a kids movie, like a lot of these kids movies are just whatever dumb series of colors and sounds that they can cobble together for 94 minutes to make someone in the back seat shut up when you throw an iPhone in their face when you're trying to have an adult conversation. Like, that's what kids movies are. And this one is a movie that, like, if you're an adult, you can watch it and kind of get into it. So, anyway, so top 10 movies in America. These are only going to be domestic numbers. That's how we do it on the Box Office Roundup. These are domestic numbers from the past weekend, even though today is a holiday, right? It's President's Day, right? Boom. So technically a longer weekend, so these numbers are a little bit more inflated than traditional weekend numbers, which is good for Sonic. So we're going to give you the top 10 movies in America. We're going to start with number 10, go to number 1, tell you what they earned, yada, yada, yada. This is how you predict sequels, guys. Not whether or not you liked it or not. It's whether or not it made money. So here we go. Number 10, Downhill. Opening up on a downhill slope. $4.6 million to the box office from Fox Searchlight Pictures. Only in about 2,300 theaters nationwide, which is a lot of theaters for opening up at number 10. So, yeah, there you go. Opening up with $4.6 million. Number 9, Doolittle. Oh, Doolittle. From Universal, bringing in only $4.8 million in its 5th weekend release, pre-week release performance here. $70 million domestic gross so far for this Robert Downey Jr. Travesty. Number 8, Jumanji, The Next Level, bringing in $5.5 million in its 10th. Count them up. That's how many fingers we've got. 10 weeks in the box office, bringing another $5.5 million in its stale ass, boring, limp ass.
But did you even watch it?
Did you even watch it?
Yeah, I did. I reviewed it on the show.
I know. Go back and check out that podcast. You watched it, so I don't have to. That's how the show works.
You also can't pass judgment on things unless you've seen them. That's how the show works.
But screw Jumanji. I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm saying screw Jumanji. There's a difference. But it made another $5.5 million unfathomable $1 million. $305 million domestic gross so far. Wow. We're going to see at least 25 more of those movies. Number 7, jumping up into number 7. Wow. It's been out for 19 weeks. It's been out for 19 weeks, guys, because no one saw it when we told you to see it. But Parasite getting a big, more expanded release now in 2,000 theaters nationwide. So it brought in $5.6 million this weekend, bringing it up to $43.3 million in the U.S. That's a pretty dadgum good haul for a relatively short-released foreign film in non-English language. That's a big haul for a domestic total there. Number 6, 1917 from Universal, bringing in $8.1 million in its 8th weekend release, bringing in $144 million at the box office. And yeah, there you go. Number 5, Bad Boys for Life, still hanging in there in the top 5 in its 5th weekend release. $11.4 million, doing way better than I ever thought it would. Jerry Bruckheimer and Michael Bay high-fiving each other and going, we're only going to make movies together forever, which is how it should be, bringing in a total domestic gross of $181.4 million in 5 weekends out. Number 4, The Photograph, the romantic drama from Universal Pictures, bringing in $12.1 million for Valentine's Day. Sorry to everybody that got dragged out to that one. Bringing in a total of 12.1 in its opening weekend, bringing us to number 3, The Compromise Valentine's movie, Fantasy Island, from Blumhouse, a.k.a. released by Sony. $12.3 million in its opening weekend, just slightly above The Photograph. Number 2, no longer known as Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, now known as Harley Quinn, the movie, because I cannot believe that we even said it on the show last episode. We were like, man, to get more people in the theater, they probably should just change the name to Harley Quinn, because that's how dumb everyone is, and everyone will probably go see it because they go, I know Harley Quinn, that's what my girlfriend dressed up as, and I like seeing butts on screen with baseball bats, girl power. And that's exactly what they did. They changed the name to Harley Quinn. Can you freaking believe this?
Extra, 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 tiny, small Birds of Prey.
Yes, because Hollywood is aware of how dumb you guys are as an audience, as we all are. So they changed the name of the movie after the opening weekend because they're like, oh, geez, people don't understand a long title. We better dumb it down for those what's good guys going, hey, man, I'm just here at the theater to see a movie. I don't know what emancipation and fantabulous means. Harley Quinn, yeah, the butt girl. Oh, wow, she's sassy and my girlfriend likes her. Let's go see that. That's what they think of you. That is exactly what they think of you, and they changed the name accordingly. Wow, guys. And it made $17.2 million because of it. Good job. But still underperforming for a Warner Brothers comic book movie. They were hoping to get Joker-esque numbers, which they didn't. But Puddin's going to make all the money no matter what because everyone loves Joker. But it's only brought in $59.4 million at the box office, leading us to the number 1 movie in America, Sonic the Hedgehog. What? Sonic the Hedgehog from Paramount, bringing in $58 million at the box office, when you count the holiday release, which was today, got a big release, bringing it up to $70 million for the holiday weekend. Whoa, there you go. Only had an $85 million budget on it, and that's even after the reshoots.
Really?
And yes, $85 million. It is already in one weekend, almost made its money back. We're going to see a lot more from that. International market brought in $43 million. Worldwide gross in one weekend, $113 million.
It did it. It succeeded. You did it, Internet. You made it happen.
You made it happen.
Sweet, sweet, sweet victory.
Maybe they'll start listening to us.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll start when the internet's going, maybe Star Wars. No, Star Wars is a lost cause.
No, it's done. It's done, ruined. It's over.
It's a lost cause. It's too late for me now.
remove all the bullshit added to me by J.J. Abrams so I can look at you as a franchise with my own eyes.
And then it dies. That's how it's going to do. All right, well, our producer's throwing the cue music, so I guess we're done. But anyway, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Download us wherever you download podcasts. I'm the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
We'll see you guys next week.